Jimmy popping all that bullshit. I be seeing you, Jimmy talking about, we Gucci boo boo. He in the Gucci store talking about, we Gucci boo boo. The Black King Jones was going, they was going, he caught Jimmy up like, manita moneda.
It sounds like he want to do one with 50 Cent. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like Jim.
Nah, I don't want to do nothing with that sucker. You heard? Leave him out of the conversation.
Jim Jones. Who is Jim Jones? Like, he's not on anyone's top 10 list. He's like no one's top family.
When Jay did the remix, it was the biggest alley-oop he could do for me. I understood a lot about music, and at that time, people were looking at the wrong way, and I was looking.
This rare video, which 50 Cent released after destroying Jim Jones for disparaging Nez.
If I told you I was in the Roc Nation office, how would you feel about that? Huh? You think I was lying?
Shows how Jim turned on Jay-Z. Going from calling Jay's soft top leading for a Roc Nation deal, 50 has never been a fan of Jim or Jay, as you are all well aware.
I did for Nas, probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral act.
50 took it personally when Jim recently began boasting about how much better he was than Nas, and how he had helped make Nas go viral once more. Furthermore, 50 just revealed Jim's lengthy history of treachery and snake behavior, not just his scorn for Nas. For years, Jim has flipped the script, alternating between disdain and surrender, begging and conflict, particularly with Jay-Z. The problem is that Jim insulted Jay for more than 10 years, including slapping one of Jay executives. Jim, however, crawled back to Jay-Z when he needed a deal, pleading to be signed and referring to him as a hero. 50 is now taking this opportunity to remind everyone of Jim's true identity. A guy who has no allegiance, no strong opinions, and no regard
Ever.
Certain people shouldn't be able to say your names until they've done something in the genre of music. I've done too much in this music to even have to answer that question. Like Jim.
Fourth culture he says he represents. But that is only the tip of the iceberg. An entire story can be found here about how Jim's disdain for Nas backfired dramatically, allowing others, like 50 to delve into Jim's.
I know I made a little boo-boo when we talk about the sales and all this type of behavior. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he's finished. But listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out. Nas was dope. We appreciated him. He had a little bit run. But Nas always came up second to Jay and DMX and all these other people.
But lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. Y'all ain't people.
You don't even be in the same places I be in.
I can be in the church house. You can't definitely Nas lyrics. I don't know who told you that. Now look, you all know you on that good stuff, but you're not seeing Nas. Well, you're not seeing Nas, bro. Let's be real.
You got a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds in their panties because I said I'm better than Nas.
Hey,
I want run circles around Nas rapping right. I will run circles around Nas rapping right. But dog, right now,
no,
I don't know.
I was wrong though. Let me take my mic.
I'm batting around Nas right now rapping. Everybody knows
his past and reveal very thing. Let us examine Jim's transition from making fun of Jay, tashoing empathy. 50 Cent is known for calling out phony music.
Ever. He's never been talked about like this ever in his life. You dig? The last time he was in some shit like this, where people were comparing him.
Positions in his recent remarks that Jim Jones was Jay-Z's lapdog after Jim insulted. Nez brought attention to Jim's habit of vacillating. In case you missed it, Jim asserted that he is superior to Nez, and even argued with Shannon Sharp about how he can neuter for him. Nez in the booth.
Told you I was in the Roc Nation office. How would you feel about that? Huh? You think I was lying? That's clear enough for you? Talk to me. Let me know your sentiments.
Kim doubled hard and boasted about making Nez relevant again for the first time since Nez feuded with Jay-Z. Even though a number of rappers criticize it for being nicer than nice. You now know that 50 Cent had to intervene and remind Jim about his own relationship with Jay, since Jim brought up the subject. And this is what 50 did. He played a vintage video of Jim looking ecstatic and euphoric at Roc Nation headquarters. Additionally, 50 used the caption as an opportunity to brag about Jim, saying someone asked me if I have more enemies than friends. I thought about it and said yes. Poor me.
You heard? I did a little something for you in the studio. Then he had something to Old Boy.
This is Old Boy's already #1?
Yeah, it's popping.
All right.
I listened to it and I was like,
I'm suffering from success. Lol. You may believe that 50 is being petty. But if you are aware of the entire history of Jim Jones and Jay's connection, his post will have a greater impact.
First of all, let's get right to it. There seems to be some drama. You and The Rock, Jay-Z, you try to diss, you did diss him. I just know about it. You dissed him. I dissed Michael Jordan. RICO Drama, man. We're gonna get to that. Shouts to Dave Dash, who started Rockefeller Records. If y'all don't know, he's responsible for Rockefeller getting off the floor that started in Harlem. You know what I'm talking about?
You see, Jim used street battles, discreditings, and public jabsto hardly disparaged Jay-Z for 13 years. However, when it worked for him,
You know what I'm talking about?
How about that, bro? All right, I said this, middleman, give me that. I'm on there, Jones. Burning the streets up, y'all know what it is, man. Purple Bag's coming out, my dude Cam album coming out. I ain't Ruel Santana, he slated for September. You know what they call me, Geronimo Craddock, and Dipset the new Black King. Well, no problem.
he went all out and pleaded for Jay Saperville. And that is the main idea. Jim's recent jab against Nas is the kind-off thing that will really backfire Beck is. It is reviving interest.
I promise you this. Yeah, I'm sitting clean with the gun, get it. A hotel, second things in my rock. Listen, what I spent about 8 grand, mommy on stage.
In Jim's entire dubious past. But wait, how did Jim go from slapping one of Jay's XX and dicing Jay to pleading with Jay to Zion? Let us go back. It all began in 2002 when Dame Dash called in Jim Jones and Cameron to rock a guy. Jim then asserted that Cam was promised apposition. At Rock as vice president, Jathan never made this public. Latter that year, Cam informed the source. I didn't even know if I'm a take on Thrall as of yet. Me and Dame are still talking about it, but I mean, I can have it, it's mine. However, as you can see, Jay approved this and informed the source that's not taking.
Jim Jones, the rapper, is going down.
Effect as Ophiate. I think the talk is a little premature as of right now. Thus, the tension was present right away. Subsequently, Jay created a remix of Thipo Puler's song, Oh Boy, by Cam and Jules Santana, releasing a verse that made fun off Nas. Cam, however, decided to
Jimmy Jones. Jim Jones.
What's up with that Jim Jones shit, man?
Hip hop, of course, you know, is a competitive sport. But on the other end of it, it's like certain people shouldn't be able to say your names until they done something in the genre of music. I've done too much in this music to even have to answer that question. Like Jim Jones, who is Jim Jones? Like, he's not on anyone top 10 list. He's
remove Jay's verse and later stated that he wasn't going to let Jay to use their song to settle his beat after Jim and Cam refused to release the remix, and the tone was set at that moment. The sneak peek era began because Jim and Cam believed Jay did not appreciate them in interviews.
That's nice, like the 8th guy on the bench just screaming at Joy, like, you a bum. Like, you want to view like the 9th guy on the bench. I'm not even worried about you.
That Jay's longtime nemesis turned collaborator Fat Joe signed to Rockefeller, and now it looks like another former rival will
in radio appearances. Jim began criticizing Jay more frequent line, portraying him as soft and corporate. Cut off from the streets, Jim emphasized the difference between raw, flamboyant, and violent movement of the Dipsets and and the more formal business-minded Jay, asserting that Jay was left behind by the streets. At first, Jay did not give a direct response, but there was friction within Rockefeller, and everyone knew it when Jim released We Fly High in 2006. The song went viral, and Bailin became a catchphrase. When Jim eventually had a solo smash, Jay-Z realized he needed to reply. He released a remix of Jim's original beat called Brooklyn High, but it was an insult instead of an homage. Jim's style, his bars, and even his ad-libs were all ridiculed by Jay. He was dismissive, icy, and surgical. However, Jim retaliated with the beef mix, changing the tempo once again, and slamming into Jay, accusing him of being weak, elderly, and out of touch. At this point, however, things became real-lidded, and the feud erupted into the actual world. Jim was seen touching Sumione in a Louboutin store in 2008 on security film. Later on, it was discovered that Lenny Santiago, Jay's longtime meander, was the victim. Jim entered a guilty plea to minor assault after being arrested for this. Although Jay remained silent about the incident in public, the message was evident behind closed doors. A few months later, Jay spoke about the current status of rap music in an interview with XXL. Additionally, he made fun of Jim by claiming that songs like Jim's Nah